What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Rick and Morty Season 3 video. So if you're new to the channel, a like and a subscribe is super appreciated. And well, in this video I'm going to be combining two different fan theories for Rick and Morty. So Season 3 has really been an absolutely fantastic episode. Or season, sorry. And it is, I've really enjoyed this season. I thought it was a great season. And there hasn't really been a bad season yet, albeit there has only been 3 seasons, so there is time for it to not be very good. We've had instant classics such as Pickle Rick, which has now got a pop vinyl figure as well, so I guess that's the sign that your show, or your at least episode, or your character in the show has become a pop culture icon. And this season, I've said, has been really fun to watch. One of my favourites has to be the Vindicators episode part. It was just a really good riff on Guardians, Avengers, and everything like that. And it's just just a fun episode and got some of the funniest one-liners throughout the episode. But in this video, like I said, I'm going to be combining two popular fan theories, which is the fact that evil Morty is involved quite a lot. And as well as this, we do have a reason why Morty is actually turning into Rick. Now, the first thing here is that, well, evil Morty, who we saw in the Season 1 episode 10, Close Rick Encounters of the Rick Kinds, or Close Rick Counters of the Rick Kind. Some of these episode titles are really good. So we saw, of course, we thought that evil Rick was the mastermind behind everything, with 27 Ricks being murdered and everything like that, and all of this going on, and seemingly all of this done, was to find our version of Rick, which is Rick C137. So what happens, I think, here is that we actually have evil Morty is the original version of Morty, or at least on the universe and the world that we actually know. So what I think has happened here is the fact that I think Rick had his original Morty. This then turned out to be incredibly smart, very powerful, and then started to become evil. And then what I think happened here is that what actually happened was our Rick, our C137, actually stranded him somewhere. Maybe he didn't actually have the guts or have the ability in his own self to actually kill a Morty. And then what he did, he just stranded him. But of course, evil Morty is stupidly clever, an absolute genius, and was able to escape this and find his own Rick, or find a Rick, and control him so he could live a life of being with the complete absolute necessity that every Morty has to be with a Rick. So everything that happens here is really cool. I really did like this, and I like this idea that what happened was we had Rick who raised this Morty very badly, and then he ended up being evil. And what I think is the idea behind this is the fact that, well, we see images, or we see scenes of Rick actually holding a baby and crying. And the problem here is the fact that, well, it's quite well known that Rick wasn't around for like 20 years, and Morty is supposed to be about 14, 15, that kind of age. So that time difference there, and the fact that he was gone missing for quite a while, presumes that he'd done something. Maybe he went back in time, went to a different universe, and swapped him over, because, well, they say that time travel isn't going to be something which they explore in the show. So I think that maybe he replaced Morty in using some other way, or something has happened. Maybe he's mind wiped everyone, maybe he's paused them like we saw in the show as well, and I think that is possibly what has happened. Now, the further thing here is the fact that, well, what happened to this evil Morty? So I think that he actually went on to control Rick, and I think that he has done everything so far, especially in Season 2, everything that has happened, he took over Earth just to find this version of Rick and screw him over. And I think that everything that seems to be going on is at the mastermind plot of course, evil Morty. And now, there is one thing which I think would be another thing to this is the fact that perhaps as well this Morty is slowly morphing actually into Rick. And we saw this in the Vindicators episode, especially in this episode when we saw this dude and he was able to think like Rick. He had the same ideas as Rick. He could see right into his brain. He was able to defuse the neutron bomb. He could see right into just how Rick thinks, albeit he didn't actually realize that the ride and everything that was done was all about him. It was actually about Noob. So that's where that plot kind of actually falls down. That kind of theory does fall down there. However, what I think is that this one is turning into him, and perhaps he has got a younger version of himself, or possibly he has just created his own Morty, or inhibited maybe his genius. So if he has inhibited his genius, we saw him in the episode where they had the toxic version of their personality taken out, and Morty was actually able to survive and become incredibly smart. So unhindered, he's an absolute genius. He lived that perfect life. He lived that sort of American Psycho Wolf of Wall Street life because he was completely unhindered. So does this mean that Mortys are inherently evil? That is another question which needs to be answered, because there's so much to actually question as well. But I do like the idea. I like the bare bones of these theories, but the infinite Mortys and the infinite Ricks, that's where these things kind of fall down just a tad. Now, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that there is much weight to both of these theories? Do you think that these could actually go much further? Do you like these ideas? So that is it for this video. Please drop a like, please subscribe, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.